And a good evening, everybody. Chris McDonald with you on this Thursday night, McFiles special. We're grateful to have everybody with us tonight. And we're always grateful to have old friends with us. And I tell you, he's beginning to be a regular, which is all right with me. And Mike Simonnelli's on the phone with me. He's a former police officer and detective up in New York City, the Big Apple. And always a pleasure, buddy. Good to have you tonight. How you been?
Hey, Chris, great. Thanks for having me back. I'm glad to hear you made it back from your trip to the Big Apple safely. Hope you had some good pizza over here.
Well, I did, and we did not lose one single tire and one single hubcap during the trip. I'll just say that, okay?
That's awesome.
That's an inside joke, Simonnelli. Trust me. Lord have mercy. No loss of hubcaps and no loss of cards, and we got out with everything intact. So we're good. We break even when we come through. I put it like this: when you drive through New York City and you have your hubcaps and your keys in your car, and you're not basically punched in the eye, I think you break even. I think you get out after you get out of the city limits and wave goodbye and say, "Thank you, Lord, I got out even." From New York City. But it's so good to see you tonight. I've got a lot to talk with you about, and I do want to ask you a couple of things. Since we talked last, I know you wasn't able to be with us last week, and which is fine, and we're just grateful that you're with us tonight. But I want your thoughts on this New York gunman. I know they got him and all that happened, but also the Cincinnati situation. Mike, we're descending quickly, and you were on the front line of this for many years. It's not just New York City. Our whole nation is descending into a chaos of lawless madness, and that's our title of our show tonight. I tell you, it's very disturbing. To see this descent. And I think what's more disturbing, especially in the Cincinnati case, is the absolute failure of leadership in the top brass to deal with this. And nobody wants to make anything racial. Nobody. But these idiot Democrats and these idiot Democrat leaders of these cities do. And then when they act like that if we point out the fact that this was 5 black people beating up 2 white people, that we're the racist. But I can guarantee you this night, my friend, if that would have been reversed, me and you would probably not even be on the air tonight, because it would be nonstop coverage 24/7, and they would still be talking about it tonight, and they'd be calling for Trump's head and all the MAGA's head, and we're a bunch of white supremacists. That's what would be going on.
100%. You're right, Chris. Listen, there's a huge double standard when it comes to race. And while regular people like you and I don't want to make things racial, yes, Democrats, the left, they racialize everything. So if it involves black victims, then it's racial. If it involves white victims, they just don't care about it. It doesn't matter. So it doesn't make the news, which things like that are going to stop or start changing. Because I just saw the news the other day that with Trump's cuts to NPR and PBS, they're going out of business. They're no longer even going to be reporting. And that was just government-funded propaganda from the left. So that's a good thing. And I think the reason behind what you're talking about, the lawlessness that we see, well, for one, it's been pumped into our population, into our children in school, and in the media, how horrible America is, how racist we are, how oppressive we are, slavery still. Meanwhile, everybody's risking their lives from around the world to come to our country. Now, they're not idiots. They're doing it because they know this is the greatest place in the world, the safest place in the world for you to talk, express your feelings, your beliefs, but that's not what our children are being taught in our schools. And thankfully, that's going to start changing, too, with the way Trump is going after the Department of Education.
I totally agree with that. And speaking of propaganda, I heard a collective sigh of relief in the country today. You just got to love karma, man. I tell you, Howard Stern went out and told everybody, said, if you're a Trump supporter, when the election happened in 2024, He said, if you're a Trump supporter, stop listening to me. Well, guess what happened? They stopped listening to him, and Sirius XM. Look, you got to be pretty bad for Sirius XM to cancel a 20-plus year show, but they cut him loose today, Mike. And I think there's a domino effect, man, that's about to hit the airways. This already happened with Colbert. Stern is gone now. He is off the air. And I think your point is well taken. I just think the American people are pee-poor tired of this, and we're sick of our kids being indoctrinated in the public. And, again, I don't even have any problem with there being a balanced discussion of values and a balanced discussion of ideas. I think that we need the left to balance the right. It's like I heard Dennis Kucinich, and I never agreed with anything Dennis Kucinich said, the late Dennis Kucinich, and he said something one time that made a lot of sense. A plane has to have two wings to balance it out and fly. And I think our country, there is some people on the left that are not insane crazy. Not many, but there are a few. But this left-wing loon bomb part of the country has gone crazy. They've gone Marxist, man. They've just gone full-blown communist, and they don't want anything but the complete destruction of the United States of America. That I cannot tolerate.
Yeah, you're right. I think that Mandami guy, they had a rally for him in D.C. just a few days ago that AOC was at, and the people who attended it, these are grown, educated, like college graduate people, are quoted telling the news people that, we want socialism, capitalism is evil.
I know.
And they're buying into this crap that this guy's pushing. Like, he's pro-LGBT plus Q minus sign. Meanwhile, in his home country, you get killed for being homosexual. And they're just that dumb that they eat it up.
Why is it that he is so popular in New York? Is it basically because of the distrust that the city has with Adams and Cuomo, or is it that is he really making inroads among the young people? What's the appeal of this guy? Because Mike, in a normal world, this guy wouldn't have even made it out of the primary, man. This man won the Democrat nomination for mayor of New York City. Yeah,
he did. In a city, and look, some people could complain about this, but this is a city that was attacked by radical Islamists, and he is a Muslim. And if you practice the religion, they say the way you're supposed to. And look, I served in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I know the real deal, that the end goal of their religion is to take over. It is not peace with Catholics and Jews or any other religion. And you can look in Africa and the Middle East right now where Christians are being murdered, beheaded in African countries. So it's just amazing that in New York City, that is who won, despite all the other things with the pro-socialism that he feels, that he pushes, his anti-police. But I believe he garnered he's got the young people, and they're energized. Whereas the old people, the old guard, were for Cuomo, but they're not exactly energized by the guy because he's a loser. He's got a whole lot of baggage, sexual harassment, and it looks like he's just trying to get the job to then launch somewhere else. So there's not a lot of motivation to support him. But yeah, the young people, they get riled up. Apparently the guy ran a great social media campaign that other people are trying to copy. I think I even heard how Cuomo and Adams are trying to copy what he did. And Adams was a Dem, but because he went against Biden with his immigration policies, because he saw how it was tearing New York City apart and couldn't afford it, he was attacked, and now he's running as an independent.
Do you think that he has enough of the old guard behind him to overcome the energy of the young people in Mandami? I'm hearing people tell me, Mike, they're very scared that this kid is going to win. I mean, people are worried about it.
Well, they should be. They should be very worried about it. I hate to say it, but I kind of want to see it happen, Chris. I want the people to get what they vote for. I want them to live and see what happens when you give the reins of the city to a radical socialist like this. It's just like we've seen it in England, in London. Their mayor, and I think he just got reelected for the third term.
He did.
Yeah.
Unreal. It's unreal. Well, and I tell you, I thought the city would learn its lesson with Bill de Blasio. I thought the city would learn its lesson with Eric Adams, and I thought the state would learn their lesson with Cuomo. And then Hochul has been almost worse than he is, and she is as radical as they come. And Mike, let me ask you a simple question: Is it the lack of the Republican strength in New York, or is the Democrats have just set their flag and dug in so deep that there's just so much corruption that there is no Republican that has the guts or the gusto to go out there and break through that? Because I swear, the people the Republicans got, you just want to shake a knot in the New York Republican Party. It's almost like they're in on this. Because Curtis Sewell, I mean, really? Are you kidding me? You could have run. Simonnelli, I would have come up there and campaigned for you. I would have come up there and been your campaign manager. If you would have went for the New York mayor's race, I would have come back in and done it for free. Because I would vote for you. I'd write your name in. And I don't even live there.
I hate to say it, but I don't think I would never have got supported by the Republican Party because there's no way to control me. There's no way to corrupt me. Sadly, I think a lot of people in politics are ones that are corruptible, that the party wants to be able to control you. And now I'm not saying they can control Curtis Sliwa. He's just seen as kind of a bit of a nut job, you could say, with the Guardian Angels.
Right.
He's done some good work. His heart was in the right place. But no, he's not a moderate conservative Republican that people are like, yeah, I want to vote for him. It's just not the guy.
I'll ask you this, we'll get off this, and I want to go to Cincinnati's situation. Are there enough votes? Let's just say if Curtis Sewell dropped out, okay? Let's just say that Sewell just conceded, said, look, I'm not going to run. If you vote for anybody, vote for Eric Adams. We can't afford to let this Nazi Marxist sympathizer get elected. Right. Would that help? Or do you fear that the vote's going to be split? Because that's what I'm hearing from most pollsters, most political people that are looking at this politically. And I think these political pollsters don't get what you said a while ago about the energy this guy has with the young people. But does that help? Is there enough older people there in New York City to overcome this? Or is it pretty much a foregone conclusion that come November, the world's about to change? Because New York City is not just any city, brother. It's the biggest city in the world.
I know. I get it. It's 45 minutes away from me, and I'm going there next week to see a bunch of buddies. So I dread what – I mean, look, I've been disgusted by what's going on in New York for a long time, starting with de Blasio. I do think the vote will be split amongst Sliwa, Adams, and Cuomo enough that Mandami – that is people that'll take it. And that isn't to even mention how the corruption involved in the balloting, the voting process.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So with all those things, I would not be surprised at all if Mandami wins.
How did you feel about the number of national voices, Democrats, Pocahontas, Iowanas, or whatever you want to call her, the nut job from New York AOC, and all these socialist communists that are posing as Americans in Congress? How'd you feel about all these voices coming out and supporting him so enthusiastically? It sort of should scare folks about our national folks that are representing us too, don't you think?
I gotta tell you, Chris, the people that represent us in government are just some of the worst people that you're ever going to see.
I'll agree.
It's very disappointing. Growing up, I thought those people, man, they must be really smart. They must be really good people, kind of like our founding fathers were. But no, these people are in it for themselves. AOC was bartending and broke, and now she's a freaking multi-millionaire, famous everywhere she goes. And what has she done as a legislator? What has she done? Her own, her district, the people are angry at her because it's become a red light district of illegals being forced into, sexual human trafficking, and she's not doing anything about it. She's doing her social media rants and traveling the world, making money.
Well, you bring up an excellent point there, because that's what's being reported tonight about Jasmine Crockett. Her staff, some of her former staff, went to the New York Post And they sort of let it all hang out. And I was reading that article, man. I tell you what, it was some serious stuff that they basically said. But their biggest thing about her was that she was a social media influencer, not a congressman. But this is the question I got for you. It's political in nature, but it's like this, Mike. We can be disappointed. We can be shocked. We can shake our head at how these kind of people are up there, but we cannot forget this one simple fact. They were elected. And that goes back to what's so important, why it's so important, what's going on tonight in Texas. And the redrawing of these districts, I was telling my wife tonight that this is why we have AOC and why we have Jasmine Crockett and we had Sheila Jackson Lee and we have these demagogues. We have Nancy Pelosi all these decades because these districts were gerrymandered by the Dems to make sure you had a high African American population, you had a high Muslim population, you had a high population of liberals where they have got a stronghold. And the Democrats are acting like the world's coming to an end. Hey, the Republicans are just doing to them what they've been doing to us for 40 years. And I say go for it. And, I don't, cry me a crocodile tear. I don't care. But the people of Texas should be ashamed of themselves, not Jasmine Crockett, but of themselves for putting her up there, and AOC as well, the New Yorkers.
Yeah, you're right. They're idiots. They're voting like morons. They're voting on popularity like it's a high school contest, not a serious one of 400-something people that are actually governing your country. So they need to start being more educated as a voter and don't buy into the BS of a good social media video. Look, social media is great for entertaining, but that's right. That's for entertainers. We need our legislators to be serious people who know, economics, national security, justice departments, border security. That's what we need. We don't need somebody showing us how they can make a freaking recipe or do their eye makeup.
No, I'll agree with you there, brother. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about the Cincinnati situation. You were in law enforcement for many years. What was your initial thoughts last week when you saw this lady? And I'm not sure if this was her husband or they were married or they were just two individual people not tied to each other. And she got the living below beat out of her to the point they slammed her head against the concrete. She went on Laura Ingraham tonight, and we've got a video we're going to play right after you get off the air with us. And she's basically saying that the Cincinnati police, Mike, never even took a statement. In all your years of law enforcement, have you ever heard of an assault of that magnitude and them not even take a statement from the victim? That's unreal.
No, that's unheard of. No, because look, cops get excited when there's violence. That means there's somebody, that's a bad person committing a violent act. We rush to that and we then look to get that person. That's like a highlight. So for them to not do anything, that's very surprising to hear. Although the way the chief cast it as just an incident and not a beat down, not a mob attack, kind of shows you what the leadership in the Cincinnati Police Department is kind of pushing down. What's a priority and what's not? Because this isn't the first time. I was reading how a few years ago, and the guy just came out in public with it. A few years ago, he was attacked in a similar incident, leaving a Reds game, and this is a white guy. He was mob attacked, and he ended up losing his freaking eye. And the cops still, they never arrested anybody. They had some suspects, but they told them, you know what, even if we catch them, they're not even going to get time. So, don't even waste your time. And nothing's been done.
Well, I hate to go down this road, but I want to go down with it just a little bit with you tonight. Do you believe, in your opinion, this is just an opinion question. I know what my opinion is about it, but was this a racial hate crime to you?
Was it a racial hate crime? Well, look, if you have a group of one race beating the living crap out of another while they're down and you keep on doing it, it's very easy to say it looks like it is.
Yeah.
I know for sure, had that been black people on the ground and white people stomping them, the whole country would be being told how it was a racist incident.
Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you what would have happened to the five whites. They'd have been charged with racially hate. They'd have been charged with a racial hate crime, Mike. Wouldn't even blink an eye about it.
Right. And what I want is for them to be treated equally.
Absolutely.
If that's how we're going to think about it when black people are beaten, well, then that's the same thing when white people are beaten, okay?
Without a doubt, brother. Would you fire that Cincinnati police chief?
Oh, yeah. She'd be gone. She just looks, she doesn't look the part anyway. You know, she just looks like a slob in uniform. So I think she's probably one of those DEI picks by the mayor. Because, look, all a police chief is at that point is a political appointee. So she checked the box being a female. I was amazed that she was white, but of course it was a female.
I was too, actually.
White male police chief these days.
Well, I used to live in Ohio. It was a short time. I love Cincinnati. I love Cincinnati, Ohio. I love the Reds. I love the whole area of Southwest Ohio. I got some dear family up there. I'd even given thoughts of moving there, you know, at some point in my life because it's just a good area. But that Cincinnati city, the politics of it, makes me want to stay a million miles away from it. And I jokingly told a dear friend of mine, he comes on the show sometimes, James Akers, and I said, how in the world does Cincinnati have the mantle of having Jerry Springer as your mayor? And he didn't have an answer for that. He laughed and he said, I can't explain that one, but we're a good city other than that. We're a good city other than having Jerry Springer as our mayor, the late Jerry Springer, actually. Mike, let me ask you a general overall question tonight about law enforcement, then I'm going to get to some other things with you. What has happened to the communities and the crime in this country to be so violent? You know, I have never seen so many videos being posted of police officers and these people, when they tell them to get out of their car or they tell them you're speeding, I need your driver's license, I need your registration, please step out, turn around. The absolute vulgarity and profanity and just disrespect for the authority of the police. You know, I was always raised that if a police officer tells you to do something, you do it. You don't sit there and cuss him. You don't sit there and try to assault him. And you're going to find yourself in a mess. And I'm going to just go out on a limb tonight. A lot of these, I know that there are bad police officers. And it's a given that not every police officer is going to be Ward Cleaver and do the right thing, but 99% of them do, Mike. They do the right thing. But the problem is that a lot of these police officers are put in such a place of jeopardy because you know this, buddy. Sometimes your decision making is seconds. You don't know what people are going to do. These people could pull a gun, a knife. They could kill you. And you got to make a second, a minute decision. And I see all this disrespect. Where has that come from? Where's it come from?
That actually has been coming from the government, at least since Obama was in charge. It was coming from the government and coming from the media. And together, they told people, particularly people of color, that you do not have to comply. You do not have to listen to what the police officers say because you were oppressed. Black people were oppressed, so they're not legitimate. They're endangering black people, people of color, and just people in general. But I'm going to say for the most part, that's who that message was toward. And you see it how when people are on traffic stops and they're mouthing off to the cops and they're saying, no, I'm not going to give you my ID. No, I'm not going to roll the window down. No, I'm not going to exit the car. Listen, everybody knows who the police are because we wear the uniform. We're in the cars with the big lights. So it's no secret. And you know, for 99.9% of the time, you're dealing with an officer that is going to act in accordance with his authority and not abuse it. Unlike other countries where you don't know what you're going to get if you get pulled over. Likewise, when we pull somebody over or we're dealing with somebody, we don't know who they are. We don't know that that's a good person. We don't know that that's a good person who's just having a bad day. So, yeah, we get real nervous when people don't comply because that's not something that ordinary law-abiding citizens do. So when somebody is non-compliant, when they refuse to show their hands, we don't know if that's because they're hiding something in their pocket. It may be just a joint or a pill that they're afraid of. But we could think we're going to the worst case because if they pull that gun out on us, it's too late for us to act. We're now reacting.
Yeah, I'm with you. And what's so funny to me, and I'm not saying it's funny, ha-ha, it's extremely sad to watch these people want to call 911 on the cops that I'm getting arrested. I broke the law, but please come down here and save me from getting arrested by the police. I want to give a memo to the crooks out there and the criminals among us tonight. I got a good way for you to be 100% sure that the police don't do brutality to you. Stop breaking the law, blank hole. I'm just being honest with you, man. I hate to be so blunt about it tonight. Well, if you don't break the law, you ain't got to worry about interactions with the police. I mean, but, other question to you tonight. Good stuff. And I respect, Mike, this is why I've always enjoyed you coming on the show. Look, I respect folks like you and either current police, former police. Look, y'all put your lives on the line, and nobody understands and appreciates, I think, the sacrifice that police families make and police make. And because you take your life in your hand, man, like you said, a normal traffic stop, it's a 50-50 shot, man. You could walk up and get your head blowed off, given a ticket. You just don't know. And
Exactly.
I do want to ask you about something else that happened today and get your opinion on it. President Trump came out, and I'm fully on board with this, and I'm sure you will be too, but I do want to get your take on it. He says that the census that is coming up in 2030, that's the next time we'll take one. He's going to push the Commerce Department to basically remove all the illegals off of the census numbers. And I think it's way, way, way overdue. That should have been exactly what they should have done. I believe it's how the Dems stole the 2020 election. Stephen Miller as much as said that last night on Hannity.
Love that guy.
He said that 20 to 30 seats the Dems hold in the House right now would have not been held. They wouldn't even have the seats in the House had it been for not gerrymandering that census and basically including illegals. And that's why it's important, because our census is what determines our number of representatives in each state. Are you okay? I think Trump's on to something. I think he hit a grand slam on this one. I'm all in on that.
Oh, I'm right behind you, Chris. 100%. No, it just never should have got to that in the first place.
It should have never got to it in the first place. Keep going.
Yeah. Who in our government, legislators, allowed that to happen? Said that that's okay. Didn't put up a fight as it was happening. Because that's crap. There's no way that people that are here illegally, breaking our laws, violating our national sovereignty, and living off American taxpayers' dime should also then be influencing our representation. So, no, Trump is right on target. I love Stephen Miller. I actually met him one time when I was doing escort driving for President Trump during his first term. I couldn't be happier with what he's doing on immigration, the border, letting ICE do their job. Big supporter.
I am too, buddy. I saw a comment just now in the chat, and she's right. Jenny Castellanova, good to see you tonight, dear. She says all the defund the police rhetoric that's coming out of Mandami and other leaders do not help. Has that ratcheted up, or is that echo lessening? Are you still hearing it, other than this jackanapes that's running for mayor in New York? But has that sort of eased now since the country has gone so violent, or are you seeing that rhetoric still being pushed by these lawless Dems?
It has eased in terms of they're not actively going out and saying how they want to defund the police. They don't support us still. They're still not fans. But it is still the atmosphere. I'll give you an example of something that just happened, I think, yesterday. We have a volunteer firefighter who was called to a house here in Suffolk County by parents about their 10-year-old who I think wouldn't do the homework. Now, this child has been a problem child, known that this family has called 911 numerous times, and the police and the first responders, being the ambulance or the fire department, they come and they end up taking the kid away as emotional, bringing him to the hospital. Well, the cop, the first responding chief, see somebody is videotaping him saying, "Shut the F up," to the kid. You do this every effing time. And the kid's crying that she doesn't want to go. So now this fire chief, who's a volunteer, who has a full-time job with the Mass Transit Authority, MTA, he's now been put on leave from his full-time job. and it's suspended from the volunteer firefighter part for what? For yelling at a kid. Okay, maybe you shouldn't use the F word, but you don't call 911 because your kid's not listening to you. And this family they said to the media how, I can't believe you acted like this. We've done this before, and they never have a problem with it. Well, that's the problem, because 911 means a real emergency. And here there's people, they're abusing the process, and then when they get called on it by somebody, rightfully so, how this chief was pissed. Now he's a bad guy because somebody videotaped him, and people act like they're outraged. But a lot of us aren't outraged. I'm not outraged. I'm sure you're not outraged.
Nope.
Your viewers aren't outraged. Right. So it's still being pushed by the media and then by certain political party and leaders. So, yeah, I think it's always going to be that way because we're seen as the government arm, and that's just the way it is.
Is there any hope for Kathy Hochul? Is this her final term? Does she run for re-election? Or who do you think's on the horizon for the next New York governor?
Oh, I think she's going to run for re-election, and I think Stefanik is the one talking.
Stefanik, I think if she got in the race, that's a game changer. I would love to see at least Stefanik take over New York. I think she's got the gusto to take that state if the Republicans will get behind her.
I hope so. Look, I had dealt with Congressman Zeldin for many years. He was my congressman, a fellow Army veteran. I was a big fan, and I thought if this guy can't do it, nobody's going to be able to. So I hope Stefanik could do it. I would support her 100%, but it's just hard to overcome the city population. Look, New York is very red in Long Island and upstate, but you get that city population who has the millions and millions of votes, and that's where we lose. That's
where you lose, buddy. You're not the first person that's told me that. I've heard that over and over, how red. And actually visited the western part of New York about 10 years ago now, and I was actually just absolutely blown away by the attitude of the people in western New York. They love the country. They are very patriotic. Yeah. I saw numerous American flags. This was during the time of Obama even, and there was a lot of patriotism there. But they all told me to a person during that time, we are controlled by New York City. That whatever happens in the city it pretty much carries the state, which is sad. I mean, it's really a sad footnote. As we wrap this up a little bit, buddy, I want to thank you for taking your time out on a Thursday night to be with me. I don't take it for granted that you take time away from your family to talk to this old southern redneck. And
my pleasure, Chris.
But I do want to ask you a question. I appreciate you, buddy. I really do. What is your greatest fear when you look at Zohar Mamdani and you look at what he's saying? Two questions. Do you think that he will be as radical in power as he's saying he will be, or do you think that he moderates? Number two, and I know that's who knows what he's going to do, maybe worse. But the other thing, of all the things he's saying, the anti-Israel stuff, the business takeover, the defund the police, all of his weird, wild stances, and all these videos that are surfacing of him being just a complete Marxist. He's not even a socialist, Mike. This man is he's an Islamic jihadist. I ain't got no problem calling him that. But of all the things that you see and hear from this 33-year-old punk, and that's what he is to me, what is the worst thing that scares you the most? And do you think that this makes a lot of the businesses get ready to exit, that people are starting to get exit plans from New York City? Because I don't see how any business can survive that atmosphere if this kid gets elected.
Right. That's my biggest fear, is his impact on the business environment, the business community. If he's going to drive out Wall Street, big business out of the city. Look, if they came out to Long Island, great. But if they flee the state altogether, now that's a huge part of our tax base for the state. And that could affect outside of New York City.
That's a good point.
The suburbs. So that's my greatest fear. I know some people, it could be the effect it will have on public safety. So, don't go into the city. If you're in the city, then I feel sorry for you. If you voted against him and you have to suffer those conditions, then you do have my sympathy. But if you're outside the boroughs, you're just not going to go into New York City if it becomes a dangerous place. Or
right.
More dangerous than it is.
Right. Well, that's an interesting take. And so you think that the businesses in New York City could stay in the state, but if they leave the state, then it's a disaster?
Yes, because then it affects our tax base.
Okay. Now, local politic question. Alvin Bragg, Letitia James, are they in danger of prosecution with this new found momentum of the Department of Justice? Have you heard any news, any scuttlebutt you can share with us tonight about the mortgage fraud investigation into Letitia James? Any new stuff, or is it just sort of sitting out there and smoldering and we don't know anything?
I have not, since the last time I spoke with you. I think I spoke with you about this.
Yeah.
I know I definitely spoke on the radio about it. I have not heard a thing about her mortgage issues.
Okay.
Now, I'm sure if that had been somebody on the other side, it would be a constant story that would come
absolutely.
up. Right, but no, it's been radio silence.
Do you?
Greg, yeah,
Go
I'd
ahead.
love to see him get prosecuted for prosecutorial indiscretions, but that's up for Pam Bondi and Trump administration to. In
your heart of hearts, do you believe? And I'll just throw the Obamagate stuff in with this while I'm asking you this: is Mike Simonnelli's gut telling him that we're going to see any actual justice from this, or do you think this is that we're just getting blathered again and we're getting a lot of excitement built up and we're all going to be like the bride left at the altar? We're going to be left at the altar again. Not seeing a bit of justice, but the Republicans telling us we fought for justice, we fought for the right thing, and then we get left on the side of the road again.
Well, look, I'm not going to lie. I have no faith in the Republican Party to bring us justice. I'm hoping that the Trump administration will. So if it's going to be done, it's going to be done by his administration. So I'm hopeful. If it was up to the Republican Party itself, no, there's too many rhinos.
Okay, I got to ask you this. It wouldn't be my show if I didn't at least ask one question like this to Mike Simonnelli. Did Epstein kill himself?
It's weird how there was that 1 minute of where the video didn't work.
I know. It's just amazing, ain't it? It's just amazing. He's there 1 minute, and then the video goes out, and the next minute he's hanging from the ceiling. Wow, man! You New Yorkers do it right, Simonnelli. When y'all off somebody in a jail cell, y'all do it right, don't you?
I'm sure it's just a coincidence, Chris. Come on.
Well, let me just say this. I got my joke wrong the other night. I said it too wrong. If somebody drops dead in a house, the parent is already saying, we didn't kill ourselves. We didn't kill ourselves. We didn't kill ourselves. And anyway, well, buddy, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. And you are a gentleman, and I appreciate you. Let me give you a few final minutes. If you got any final thoughts about our nation and things you want to share with us, go ahead and we'll wrap it up, man. Good to see you tonight.
Thank you, man. Appreciate being here. Thank you. Thank you for you and your audience, because it's great to be in touch with the part of America that loves our country. I will say I was just spent the week on vacation in Fire Island, and it was really nice because it's known as being more of a liberal area. But I got to tell you, it's like every other house was flying. It looked like brand new American flags. That's
great, man. That's great to hear. No, yeah. Mike, I think that's a good thing, and maybe next time show we do, we'll talk about that. I think there's a wave of patriotism sweeping this country, and I think it's legitimate. I don't think it's just faux pas. And I think that there is a change in the atmosphere, and we can thank President Trump for that. I think that we have got a leader that truly cares about the country. I heard today he donated his first presidential check to helping the historical part of the White House, and the man's doing this for free. I mean, he's getting hammered, lied about, slandered for free. And I mean, who does that? He don't have to have this mess. He's got a beautiful wife, kids. Just retire, enjoy the beach. But he says, I got to help save the country. And that's what he's doing, man. That's what he's doing.
He is. He never served in the military, but that guy loves this country like somebody who's fought almost to the death. And he did almost get killed for our country. So, we really do have a lot to love and be proud of our country. And it's nice to see that our president actually feels that way, because that was not the case in recent times.
Totally agree. I do want to keep you over 3 minutes. Let me keep you one more time. your opinion about Pete Heck's death. You're a military person too. What's been your opinion on Pete?
I'm a big fan of Pete in some regards. Look, he was a warrior. He the real deal in combat. I loved his book on schools and how we need to keep religion in the schools. But what he did, releasing the group chat where he put out, look, I think that was sensitive info. You got to be smarter than that.
Exactly.
So he's doing some really great things, making like the warrior training and the focus on lethality. 100%, that's what we should be doing. Just need to clean it up and be more careful.
Fair enough. No, that's a fair assessment. One quick question coming at you from the chat. What resistance, is a good question too, what resistance is ICE having in New York City right now?
Crazy thing, I was just walking to the gym today and I saw a vehicle that had military plates, a veteran, and one of the stickers was FUCK ICE. What the F? and it just got me so pissed off. In the city, they're facing a lot of resistance.
Really?
They are.
I don't doubt that. Is that on the mayor? Is that on Adams or is that on Hochul?
Well, definitely. I don't know that Adams. I think it's more of the groups. There's groups within the city. There's radical organizations. The people that are supporting Mandami. There are so many different radical groups. People in the hiding in the shadows in New York City. Just immigrant groups that look. Everybody, I'm all for legal immigration, and if you're here legally, God bless you, and I embrace you as one of my fellow Americans. But that's not who these people are.
No,
that's not who these people. That's not who these groups are fighting for. There's a serious problem in New York City with that kind of stuff.
No, there's a very serious problem, and somebody's going to get killed, Mike. I mean, I'm telling you, I'm surprised. I'm surprised there ain't been more rioting in the city, to be frank with you. I know there's a lot still. Look, we didn't even get to Israel tonight and the Palestinian situation up there, but next show we'll get you on, and I really appreciate you, and I'm going to get you on the radio show maybe one day next week or the next. We're on 2 to 3 every day, and I'll introduce you to the world of K-Star Talk Radio, man. And we Southerners down here, we appreciate you Yankees, even though your baseball teams we can't stand. We think the Yankees and the Mets suck. When people say go Yankees, we Southerners say take the Mets with you. That's our saying down here. But anyway, listen, God bless you, friend. Get some rest. Thank you for being with me tonight.
Thank you.
God bless, Mike. See you, buddy. In touch soon. Mike, everybody. No, that's the true saying. When we say go Yankees down south, we just respond, we'll take the Mets with you. Of course, these days we're saying go Braves and take the Falcons with you down here because the Braves suck it pretty good tonight, too. All righty. All right, good stuff. Put some fire in that house from Mike Simonnelli, one of our best guests. I love Mike, dear friend, and he's been great tonight. And Lord of mercy. Real quick, couple of videos I want to play for you. We're not going to keep you long tonight. If you got a question, you better put it in now. I did a poll, and we got 100% voting. I should have put this in earlier, but I'll go ahead and I'll put the poll in here now. Simple question. Do you believe that illegals should be counted in the 2030 census? That's an easy one, and I'll just let you answer that, and that's our poll for tonight. Good to see some other names we haven't seen in a while. And Sharon Vargas, good to see you tonight. You said you hadn't seen us live in a while. Well, we're grateful that you're with us tonight. Jennifer says, don't let my brother hear you say that. Jennifer, I won't. I'll keep my mouth shut. I know y'all are committed to your baseball teams up there. Look, I don't know who I hate the worst, the Yankees or the Mets. The Mets are in our division, but the Mets-Braves thing has gotten heated through the years. But it's all in good fun. And I've been to Yankee Stadium once in my life. It's a cool stadium. And I've never been to City Park. I'd like to see a ball game there. But we love you Yankees. We love all our Yankees up there. Just like y'all love us Southerners. We're just alike. You know, we're just alike in many ways. But anyway, I want to just play a couple of videos for you tonight. And this is the lady from Cincinnati, folks. You got to listen to this. This is her own account. She was on Laura Ingraham. Monday night, we've got Bianca Gracia with us at 9 o'clock. We're excited to have Bianca. And we'll be playing a lot more of these videos Monday. We may play some tomorrow night. We will be on tomorrow night. It may be late. We may do a midnight special. We're going to have the McJustice show. Have a lot of fun with you, but we're going to be doing a lot of crime stuff tomorrow night. And but this is the lady from Cincinnati that literally died in that mob attack. The police didn't even take her statement. Roll tape.
First and foremost, I just want to say that I don't want to relive what happened to me, 8 or 9 days ago. I'm here to talk about the future and how we can change it, how we can prevent this from happening to anybody else. These heinous crimes have to stop. I never want this to happen to anyone else, especially a mother, a daughter, somebody who is loved. So I just know what it's done to my family, not just to me. And I think that moving forward, we do need more accountability. And I definitely think that, we need more police officers. But like he said, the judges who are just letting people out with a slap. The man who attacked me and might have permanently damaged me forever should never have been on the streets, ever. And the fact that he had just gotten out of jail previously for something he should have been in there for years. It's really sad to me because I can't even fathom how many other people who have been attacked by the same type of man over and over and over. In Toledo, in Columbus, Cincinnati, Dayton, our streets are being taken over and nobody is doing anything. I am so sad. And I need to be the voice to help all of the victims that never got their justice. The biggest thing that I think really upsets me is the desensitization of humans where there's a brutal attack, attempted murder in front of you, and they all think, oh, cool, let me get my phone and record it. I truly hope that in the future there's some sort of bill to where somebody has to be prosecuted or at least fined if they don't call 911 first to save someone's life. I have felt hopeless for the future of my children, what kind of world they're going to grow up in, because it has just gotten, worse and worse.
And she went on to say, again, in another video, Laura Ingraham, we're going to find the clip from Laura. She'll have it uploaded to her website tomorrow. But tomorrow night, we're going to play her interview with Laura on the McJustice show. Folks, I'm going to tell you something. It's hideous how the Cincinnati mayor's office and the Cincinnati Police Department handle this. They should be ashamed of themselves. They should be fired. The mayor should be fired. The police chief should be fired for the way they handled this. They never took her statement. And the man she's talking about, he went before a judge. The judge gave him a $4,000 bond, which means he only had to come up with $400. That lady like lost her life. And you heard her voice crackling. She told Laura Ingraham tonight that she can't even use her last name. Laura did not even use her last name on the show because she's concerned for her safety, because she's still evidently getting threats from people about saying stuff publicly. So what's that about? What's that about? She's the victim. She's the victim. So this is the lawless country we live in. This is another situation that you've not heard about. But this 28-year-old loser went before a judge today, and he got absolutely zero jail time for doing this. Roll the tape. Let me play that again for you, just in case you didn't see it. Right in the face. This is a 28-year-old that was given zero jail time today for violently assaulting two elderly pro-life activists. They were 73 and 84. Now, this happened in May of 23, but his trial came up today. And the judge said that it was justified. So they didn't give him any jail time for that. I don't know the injuries about that, but kicking somebody in the face, I'm sure that didn't feel too good. That's assault. Now, if that would have been a pro-life activist that lost their temper, which they should not do, but say they would have kicked maybe a guard or somebody at the Planned Parenthood clinic like that, I'm going to tell you something, they would have got 30 years to life. They've been labeled domestic terrorism. There's a guy's face, by the way, speaking of the result of that kick. It's what happened to the man right there. A 73 and an 84-year-old, but no jail time, folks. That's our justice system. So our justice system is ugly tonight. It is absolutely hideous and ugly. This is The Undertaker. And you say, who is The Undertaker? Well, he is a former World Wrestling Federation champion. This is him talking to President Trump today about Trump working for free. Roll tape.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, I mean, you're a billionaire. Yeah. You've got a beautiful wife, very intelligent. You've got a wonderful family. You got people shooting at you. You don't have to do this.
That's true.
I mean,
I don't have to.
You don't have to do
this. What am I doing? Sometimes, why am I doing this?
But you are.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think people get in the media and everything else. They get everything so twisted. But it takes a special human being to sit on a podium, take a bullet, and get up, bleeding, with your hand raised in the air, and let them know that the moment right now is bigger than that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what possesses you to put your life on the line when you don't have to? Yeah. You have a wonderful life and you've got a tremendous legacy.
Beyond that, I sometimes joke with the crowds because we get very big crowds. We had 107,000 in Butler. That's where the accident took place. We had 55,000 when we went back a couple of months later. We had just the other, 2 weeks ago, we had 107,000. We had 101,000 in California.
Incredible.
3 days ago. Big crowds.
This was an interview last year right after the Butler assassination attempt.
Had these crowds. I don't even know what it is exactly. I can't explain it. Why am I getting, it's like, why? But I sometimes say, I don't have to be here with you. I could be in Monte Carlo in the beaches. I could have everything. I don't need this. But I'd rather be in Butler, Pennsylvania with you, And it's true, actually. Because, look, I have a lot of wealthy friends, and they go to these places, and, most of them are unhappy and all that stuff. But, I feel I have a purpose, and that's to rebuild our country. This country is doing so badly. The border, I mean, I don't know what your politics are or is, but your politics, just common sense. We have murderers pouring into our country. We have drug dealers pouring in. Just the border. There's many things wrong, but just the border. I think the border is worse than inflation. I think it's the biggest thing. To me, it's like we're now in the middle. I don't know when this is going on, and I wish you luck with it. I know you're going to get high ratings. I used to think I was a big person, but I don't feel so big standing next to this guy. This guy is big.
Well,
but my son would feel better, although he's not quite as wide as you, I will say.
He'll grow into it.
He will be. Yeah. He will be someday. But I feel I have an obligation to do this. I had 4 great years. We had the best economy we've ever had as a country. We had the strongest borders we've ever had in recorded history. I guess they might have been very strong 1,000 years ago or something. But we had the strongest borders. We were hitting on all. I rebuilt the military, got the biggest tax cuts in history, got the biggest regulation cuts, and is really doing great.
And that was President Trump back last year, right before the Butler assassination attempt, telling you why he's doing this, folks. He's doing it for the country. He's doing it for the country. A couple of other quick videos. This is Chris Cuomo talking about Israel. Roll the tape. 2 more. We're going to wrap it up.
Did you ever think that you would see kids on Ivy League campuses saying Israel doesn't have a right to exist? Hamas are freedom fighters. Right. And what we're seeing more and more of. What does that mean?
I wish I could make a sense of it for you. But one thing that I can tell you with certainty is that what we're seeing now in college campuses across the US and in Europe is almost an exact replay of what happened in Iran before the Islamic Revolution. And the Shah of Iran called it the marriage of Marxism and Islamism, or the marriage of red with black. Red being the communist or socialism, and black being the Khomeiniism, Islam, and political Islam. So what I can tell you with 100% certainty is if we don't wake up now, if we don't address this movement that has brainwashed our youth, has basically turned their priorities upside down, has masked the truth, has made victimization and martyrdom a glorious state of thing, we will end up where the Western liberal values will be marginalized. And this is a Judeo-Christian country based on Judeo-Christian doctrines. And we need to act before we end up in a semi-revolution where that ideology of, I don't know what to call it, it's victimization, but it's also a grievance and being able to say, everything is not my fault, everything is your fault. And that's what happened in Iran. Nothing was, the fault of intellectuals and Bazaris and everybody else that brought Khomeini to power. Everything had to do with the elite and what the Shah did.
That's powerful stuff right there, folks. Our nation is in that state tonight. We are in a blame other people for our own misery mentality. It's how we've been for a long time, and it's going to lead to our destruction because that is what the Islamic jihadist movement is counting on. Here is Mike Huckabee, final video of the night. We got a lot more to do tomorrow night. Please be with us. We'll have a full week of shows tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's going to be probably just me, but this is Huckabee talking about the fact that Qatar, I should say, Yemen, and the Saudis and the Arab Emirates are telling Hamas, get out of Gaza. When you got France and Canada and London telling Israel to get out. It's amazing how moral clarity is so messed up in the Middle East. Roll the tape.
One thing I think it's interesting, it's the European nations and Canada and other Western civilized nations who are pushing Israel harder than they're pushing Hamas. And it's fascinating that this week it was the Saudis, the Qataris, and the Emiratis who said to Hamas, lay down your weapons, let the hostages go. My gosh, think about what a contrast that is. And here's the other part of it. Has France or the UK or Canada or the Netherlands or Ireland, have they sent any food to Gaza?
No.
No, they haven't. Have they sent any volunteers? No, they haven't. Have they offered to take any refugees from Gaza? Not one. The hypocrisy is glaring.
It's more than glaring, Mike. It's ugly and it is nasty. We do not go a show without bringing to light the hypocrisy over the Gaza Strip tonight. And I do want to play one more quick video, if you don't mind. If you don't believe that they are pushing propaganda, I want you to watch this video, and I got something to say about this. Roll the tape. Let me start it again. Now, what you just saw right there, those two kids with the red arrow, they're in that video right there. That's the video that CNN and MSNBC and the Jew haters and the anti-Semites and the Arab newspapers and Al Jazeera and all the liberals are pushing to make you believe that there's hunger in Gaza tonight because of Israel. And Hollywood is what they call this, Palestinian wood. They were rehearsing all that before they got before the camera. They were rehearsing that. So, We'll talk about this more tomorrow night. I don't want to get started because I will burn the place to the ground tonight if I start. Folks, we need more clarity in this hour, and we need to realize we're being played by our media. I think most of you do that's on this network tonight. And I think Mike Huckabee summed it up right. The people that are screaming the loudest for Israel to with stand down and not do what they need to do are the same people that have not offered any help to the Gazan people. They've not sent any food, anything. And by the way, for Mr. Ford up in Ontario, you went on CNN today and said that Donald Trump is doing everything to hurt the American people by his tariffs. Let me translate that for the public out there that heard him say that today. We're kicking your butt with these tariffs, and you know we are. And you're crying uncle. But the only way you can save face, because you were a jackanapes about it, and your prime minister thought he could win this battle with Trump on the tariffs, and he's finding out real quick that the, what do you call the neosporin that you put on your backside? Anyway, you're finding out that the butt rub is not helping when you come against the Trump train and you come against the United States of America. And we love you Canadians. This is not personal. But Ford was over there bad-mouthing our country today on CNN, and I was listening to it, and I translated that to say, no, what you're saying is we're getting our butts handed to us by Trump, and we need him to stop doing it. He's not going to stop doing it because you brought it on yourself. You brought it on yourself by not coming to the table and setting a fair agreement with America on these tariffs. We will talk about this more tomorrow night, but the Gaza Strip is about to be annexed. Trump today gave the tip of the hat to Benjamin Netanyahu, and he said, whatever you do in the Gaza Strip, you've got my backing. Finish the job, clear it out, take control of it. We are with you. Hamas is not going to give you those hostages back anyway. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. I'm with Trump. I'm with Bibi Netanyahu tonight. And I'm with the nation of Israel. I believe they're doing the right thing. I will say this. Megyn Kelly made a good point today. A couple of good points. Sadly, Israel is losing the propaganda war. That's not being anti-Semitic. To question some of the methods and question some of the things Israel's doing. I don't agree with a lot of the assessment that people are making about Israel. I don't, because I believe Israel has, whatever she does right now, folks, I have no problem telling you tonight, I personally believe she's justified. She was attacked first. You do what a nation did to Israel and then you want to dictate how they respond? Are you kidding me? No, you don't get that privilege, and the media don't get that privilege. And these anti-Semites don't get that privilege to dictate to Israel how she responds to people raping and murdering her women and baby killing and raping children and cutting the heads of babies off. No, you don't get to dictate to the world, and you don't get to dictate to the Jewish state how they handle their affairs. But Trump gave them the heads up tonight to go ahead and do what they got to do. And I salute that, and we're going to talk about that tomorrow night. The individual that asked the question about the man in Cincinnati, I don't know. That's a good question. We'll try to find out and tell you more about that tomorrow. I don't think he was as injured as the woman was. I think he's okay, but he's not spoken. She spoke, and I'm sure he will speak eventually. But that was a good question, and I will try to get you an answer for that. I will get you an answer for that by tomorrow. Diane, you're the one that asked that. Diane Baugh in Virginia. I'm sorry. Diane of Virginia. 63 votes, 98-2. No to yes. Do you believe illegals should be counted in the 2030 census? The 2%. People always do this. They'll come in and vote no, but you got an open chat, folks. Tell me why you don't believe that the illegals, or you can send it to McFiles form if you've got the courage enough to do it. Tell me why the illegals need to be counted in the census. Please tell me why. I'd like to hear this one. This is rich. Now, on our Telegram poll, let me see what we got. We got the same poll on Telegram. We never have 100% on nothing. But we actually we've had 78 votes 100% no to yes. And the other poll we had the other night, do the Palestinians deserve a state? 14% said yes, they do. We had almost over 150 votes, near 150. 71% said no. 15% said yes, they do, but not on Israel's territory. So that's interesting. We'll talk about all this. And Diane, good to see you. And I will try to get an answer for you to that question tomorrow night, friend. It's good to see a lot of folks and new names tonight. Debbie Courtwright, good to see you tonight. Elaine Willard, Preparation H. Elaine, that was the word I was looking for. It was on the tip of my tongue. It was on the tip of my tongue.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Elementary, my dear Watson. That's all I got to say. It's elementary, my dear Watson. Jenny, I found it. Just for you tonight. It's elementary, my dear Watson. You Canadians, I love you guys. You brought this on yourself. Not you people, not the people, but your government. Your government. All they had to do was come sit down with Trump, work out a fair trade deal. That's all they wanted. So when Mr. Ford is on our network coming into our country and bad-mouthing my president, bad-mouthing my country, bad-mouthing America, McDonald's got a McFiles program. I'm going to tell Mr. Ford out there tonight, you're getting your butt handed to you. Take your butt back to Canada, back to Ontario, and spew that stuff on your Canadian network. We don't want to hear it down here that Trump's destroying the country. No, he's basically kicking your tail. And you know something? We Americans, we got no problem with that. And I'm not speaking to the Canadian people because I got some dear friends in Canada. We've lost some Canadian viewers because they didn't like our little stance on that, and that's all right. We love them too. But we love you Canadians, but your government's a mess. And you know that. I ain't got to tell you that. I love you, but that's all Trump wanted, which is a fair trade deal. So, Mr. Ford, I would advise you not to go on the Crap News Network and do that stuff because you don't play well here. It plays well with the liberals and the libtards, but it don't play well with us. Normal American people that love our country. As I said.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Elementary, my dear Watson. All right. God bless you. God bless your families. That's it on a Thursday night. More to come tomorrow night. A lot more to share. A lot more to do. And it's going to be a good weekend. Got a lot of good stuff coming this weekend, too, on our face side. Have a good night, everybody. If you enjoyed the show tonight, if you enjoyed Mike Simonnelli, was he not good? Wow. Join me tomorrow, 2 to 3, K-Star Talk Radio, Mac News and Journal Report is our Telegram room, themcfilesr.org. P.O. Box 265, Jefferson City. If you're listening and you're on the news side and you'd like to donate to the show, donations are welcome. If you're enjoying what you see and you'd like to support what we're doing, we could sure use it. And you can go to our website and see the ways to donate. And we're grateful for fighting the fight for freedom on this nation. We've been doing it a long time now, going on 8 years. And Lord help us, we're not planning to stop. We're not planning to stop. And we're grateful for you being with us on this journey tonight, whether you're new, old, in between, or whatever. And may the Lord bless you. And have a good one out there. I'll see you back here in the morning on the Bible study and then back here tomorrow night. Have a good one, everybody. Have a good one. Be blessed out there. Good night.